Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Qiāngxiá, a game about being kung fu cowboys, because I can do that. Now, what happened since last time? I said I was going to work on styles and try to make it the best I can, and generally speaking, it's been going pretty well. So I changed the names back. Generally speaking, we have Gunslinger, Light, Heavy, and Sword. They stand for the most of the time. They are roughly the same. However, the idea is Gunslinger types have strike and injure for range combat, while the Heavy has strike and injure checks for melee combat. That's pretty much the only major difference there. Instead of being like one is for range, like 2 hit and 2 strike for range combat, and the other is to strike and for like other things, I decided to kind of just give them what they want. Just makes things a little bit more simple. For moves, we've been moving around. I added the application die system. So application dice are pretty simple. These are just the dice you're going to roll for the actual attack. Most of the time, you're going to be using whatever the method die is. That's going to be like your offense die or your defense die. If you choose to say add +1, it'd be like, I'm going to add my offense die plus my explosive skill or something like that. If you choose to just not add a method die at all, what it is you have to select either 1, 2, or 3, and these are any skill, any dice that you want to add. So this could be I want to add my offense die, my explosive die, and gambling dice. Those are what I want to add for my skill for this attack. You might be doing that because, hey, my fucking defense dice is terrible. It is a awful die and doesn't actually work at all. So that's kind of how it is. So for example, you'd filling in offensive moves. The double barrel punch. He uses an application dice, spends only 3 style points into strike. So he adds his method die, which is D10, and his explosive die, which is D8, but he spends 0 to injure. So he only is going to use his method die to injure. Feels confident about it. Damage severity. Damage is... One of the ideas behind damage is that you're going from, let's say, D12 to D10. That's a full point of damage. That's one of the core ideas. So, taking 2 damage suddenly means a lot more than taking, like, 20 damage in another game. Because 2 damage is D12 to D10 to D8. Like, your power has now significantly decreased. Because then it's only going to get worse. Hence why it is so expensive getting things that are like 3 or 4 even. Because 3, technically, you need 2 3 damage attacks to actually kill, like, bring someone down as, like, nothing. Like, they're fucked if they hit 0. If they hit that. Because it would be, in total, you have D12, D10, D8, D6, D8. Actually, wait. D12, D10, D8, D6, D4, D2, D0. So technically, at the end of the day, you have 7 health. That's all you have. So if you take 6 damage, that's quite a bit. That's you reducing down to D0. Like, you're kind of fucked if that's the case. That's kind of the point. I wanted it to feel very scary, and getting hit is kind of dangerous. Defensive moves are in the same bank, or the same idea. So you have your application die, and I split it up into 2, is that you have a dodge and endure. Dodge is like your ability to just naturally just get out of the way or avoid being hit. Hence why you can always dodge. Like, anything you do, you can always dodge. Because that's your ability to just not get hit, that's you kind of moving out of the way. It's things like that. Endure is a little bit different. That's you just taking the hit right on, and not actually taking any damage from it. That's your full resist. Being like, I'm going to take 8 damage from you. You punch me right in the gut. I make my endure save. I'm not going to take anything. Just because I've taken it, and I'm fine. That's kind of like you're putting your hands up, that's you blocking, that's you kind of turning the fist away, things like that. As you see, endure actually costs, though. Endure can get actually pretty expensive. It costs upwards of 6 to do something that isn't actually fully reliable.
So you kind of see down here, mostly if you have a defense, if you don't have a very defensive style. So generally speaking, the Iron Fist defense, if he chooses to select this as his defense option, he can't dodge. He literally does not dodge. Like, he is not going to do that at all. But he can still attempt to make a dodge check, but he's just going to roll like his wholeness and his cultivation die. He's not going to roll anything else, which is very low. But then he's like, oh well, I want to make my, I want to make my endure chance really high, so I'm going to add 8 points out of 35. That's quite a bit. So I'm going to add my offensive die, my gambling, and my brawn to my endurance check. I'm making a big risk for this in the hope that I'm going to actually be able to hit this. Protection is kind of like armor, how we would traditionally think of like what armor would be. That's all it is. So if you say have protection 2, if you take 2 damage, you take no damage because you're just that tough. You've kind of hyped yourself up, you get punched and nothing happens. That's actually how I'm also going to do armor. Armor is just going to provide you a flat protection value. However, in exchange, you're not going to be able to actually act as often. Like, you're not going to have as many moves or many things to do. You're instead going to have to kind of rely on that armor to protect you. So that's kind of the back and forth there. You have less options, but you have a little bit of protection, and it's like, oh, you have 1 protection, you have 2 less moves. Or you have 2 protection, you have 4 less moves. Like, things get pretty hard. So overall, these are the 2 remaining things I need to do. I need to do keywords and status effects. Keywords are going to be things that you're going to put on top of your abilities. These are going to be things like moving. These are going to be things like status effects. Status effects might get moved down to combat. It's going to be things to add on to your moves to do things. Even things like, hey, I'm going to hit a double attack. Like, I get to roll this twice if I fuck it up. Or, hey, I get to do this, or I get to add this. That's literally all it is. Because at the end of the day, this is what a basic move is going to be. Just this. Because how I kind of envision you can do these kind of fancier moves, or you can decide to just do a standard move, which is like, oh, I just want to do like a basic attack. It would literally just be wholeness plus cultivation plus method. That's all it would be. Nothing else. And if you fail to hit it, you're going to do like a damage. Congratulations, you've done 1 damage that probably isn't even going to hit at all. And very simple, very basic, very easy to dodge, and you don't get anything on it. Because if somebody, say, endures correctly, they're not going to take any damage from it, and they're probably going to counter you. But that's also a big idea when it comes down to things such as, fighting regular people, because regular people aren't even going to be able to add their cultivation dice, because they don't have a cultivation dice. So, yeah, that's kind of what I worked on. I have a good idea of, like, how things are going to pull out. And as I begin to work on combat, I can probably expand some more of the styles out. I have a few ideas on how to do that properly. It's just a question, really, of doing it. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, let's sit down, kind of rub our chinny chins and debate to ourselves what the fuck I'm going to do here. Let's see. Is there anything else exciting that I should know about? The only other large and exciting piece of information out there is tomorrow we're going to obviously be doing the Curious Case. And I keep going back and forth on the Evil Dead game. Because there is an Evil Dead game. Which, it's kind of hard to... I don't know if I want to put it in or not. Because it's not actually it's not Evil Dead. That's the thing. It's not Evil Dead. It is the Army of Darkness role-playing game. And this uses Unisystem. So it's like, do I really want to even bother doing this? Because it's not exactly the most fascinating game. Or do I want to? I have a lot of games already. So I might kind of just hold off on this one for a bit. But so that's kind of like a, Yes, this is the Shanghai new one. If you want to watch a fun stream, do that. Please, do a fun stream. Don't watch this one. All I do is work on games. That's all I do. Like, I'm very boring. Let's see. We need to do styles, and we need to go Fist of Chaos. We need to go to Beast Mode. Yeah, Beast Mode. We need to do. And see, the thing is, I can't even adapt half of these because half of them are based on fucking limbs, which already have their issues. So what can we do? What can we do? Add to this. So I guess we can actually add. We'll add the fade option, which is just going to be moved back. Actually, what we can do is generate maneuver. Like you're actually, yeah, let's say, because how I want. One of the ideas is you can either move up with a move action, or you can generate something called maneuver, which all maneuver is going to be like, here's a flat, like, bonus. I don't know what the bonus is going to do yet. All I know is that it's going to be like a... Because if you watch a lot of, like, Jackie Chan movies... Like, if you do a lot of, like, watch a lot of Jackie Chan movies, and a lot of those older kind of martial arts movies, you realize that there's a lot of physicality when it comes into it. People move around a lot, even if they're, like, never really moving apart or away from, like, they're never moving closer or away from each other, but they're really moving around, they're kind of jumping through things. I don't want a really hard, like, grid system for this game, because that's kind of going against what this is kind of channeling. But I want it to have kind of this more flow to it, and that's kind of how I want maneuver to be like. Like, you just generate this thing. If you don't want to move, you just generate maneuver, which can help you out with certain things. Like, hey, oh no, you have a shit ton of maneuver. Do you want to spend that to maybe make your life easier? Or, hey, you want to use this to hit harder or something like that. That's kind of the idea behind it. Generate resource, spend resource, without necessarily being elegant. But I have a few ideas when it comes to the dice system. I'm probably going to change that ever so slightly. Just a smidge, just... Exactly. There's a lot of mobility in those things, and that's kind of like what I want to do, which is a lot harder than you think it is when it comes to the table, because either you make movement mean nothing and it's all narrative, or it's like, oh, well, I do the flying jump kick, and it's like, okay, move 5 squares and then do a kick. Like, that's kind of, that's where it gets a little bit complicated. It doesn't help that the game I kind of have to, I'm working on with this is this one, which is Fist of Chaos, which is all about fighting games and kind of making that work, which have a very different context to the fights. Like, those are very... There is technically a grid system in that game, because it's all about moving in, moving out, you know, punching people a bunch of times, and then getting wrecked to death, because guess what? Fuck you. Everything is a Rekka. I'm a Rekka. Let's see. So we want to do Fade, which is just going to be generate maneuvers. That's all it's going to do. Move in the range of 3 hexes in any direction from the fighter. We can probably do... I'm going to call it a blast. Like, just a solid blast, which is just going to do range attack, but it's going to be pretty expensive because I don't really want it. But that's like, I'm going to, like, channel the power of my fist to hit you. Or I'm just going to bring out this gun I have. Like, I'm still debating, like, wrestling in any system is a fucking nightmare. Like, you have a good method to the madness, but it's mostly a, like, how do I make this work properly? So, let's see, grab is quite a limit to be grabbed, it can be broken out of. I'm going to do grab. I'm going to add that, which is just going to be grappling mechanics. Don't want to do a mix-ups because I'm not really focusing on locational damage. Multi-target. Yeah, multi-target works. Special effects require it. Alright, what else do I have to really work? Chain, I guess. Let's see. Chain is a move that allows the fighter to perform an action immediately after they use. I guess we can use chain. We can use chain, but more along the ideas of you chain into something else. Like maybe expend an action instead of having just to spend an action, do another thing, wait till it's your turn again. It's more like you're chaining into it. That could work. Maybe it's not the best. Let's see. What else do we have to work with? This is 4. So for defensive, we can actually have things such as... let's we can actually do. Obviously, we have counter, which is how I picture counter is quite literally, if I successfully block, I get to make an attack right away. That's all counter is going to be. To seize the most up. Yeah, grappling is a pain in the ass because the thing is it's very personal. Like that's a big idea. Like that's a problematic nightmare in any game is that it's very personal. And you can get really in depth. And either the grappling rules are like, well, you grab target and now clapping noises, or it's like these like here's 7 pages of something going on of everything you can do because we want to make it realistic. And they're usually way overdone. So the other big thing about grappling rules usually is that it takes out it fucks the action economy up because it's like, well, I'm removing my actions, but I'm removing their actions too. It's usually how I do it is that if you get a grab, you have to do something with it. And it's, I've grabbed you, I'm going to throw you now. I've grabbed you, I'm going to disarm you. I've grabbed you, I'm going to kick you away kind of thing. Like something automatically happens if you do the grab. Like the idea behind like guns and stuff in this particular game, how I'm imagining mixing it up, and that's in my head how it works is guns are useful, but you can't really use any of your martial arts with them. And so it's like we want to like get up in there and use our guns in addition to our awesome martial arts to set up big things. You know, it's you sliding in there, kicking somebody up in the air, and air juggling them with double-barrel shotguns, because that sounds cool. Like, let's see. So counter is going to be a solid one. Hyper armor. Actually, what we can do is guardian armor. Guardian armor is pretty much you're allowed to make an endure check for somebody else. Let's see. Is there anything else I can really use here? Where did I put the Rekkas? See if I can remember how to do fucking Rekkas. Yep, here we go. Okay, body burn, health bonus. Actually, we can do chi burn. We can do chi minimum. Coldest burn. You just want to make a check. If you want to make a move easier to do, just have it burn away your body. It's like, this is fine. I'm now in extreme pain. So, let's see. Battle die up, body burn, enemy check penalty, flat check bonus, tiring. Where's my Rekkas? Because, yeah, so mix basic strike move into a chain. Actually, what we can do is wholeness maximum, and then we can do like a chi, actually wholeness max, chi max, wholeness min. So the idea being like, yeah, like the extent of what I was thinking about doing it is like you either go hardcore into grab builds, and that's you like running up to somebody, grabbing them, and like power slamming them into the ground as you like flip kick them in the ground. It's shit like that. Because like grappling isn't actually that big in wuxia fiction, I've learned. It's just not. Like you're more likely to be a goddamn sorcerer than that. Like, hey, I'm gonna be a sorcerer. I'm gonna blast you with magic. Like, no, you're fucking not. Because the sorcery technically is barely in the game. It just works. That's all it does. So let's see. So chi burn would be like, let's say I use this move and it's going to reduce minimum my chi by 1 step. Like if I have a D8 chi, I'm going to use the chi burn move. I'm going to go down to D6 with the encouragement that you use your chi during it. Like regardless, it's gonna drop down a step. But if you use your chi, you're instead kind of saying like you're still going to get the D8 out of it and actually use it for it, but it's going to go down by like 2 steps instead. So it's like we're burning away. Wholeness is going to be the same way. Like, oh, if you burn your wholeness, it's like, okay, we're going to now bring it down to D10. Like you've hurt yourself to use this move. In exchange, though, you get to do some more stuff with it. While Chi Max would be like, you have to have a D10 Chi to use this move. No matter what, if you have a D10 or higher in your Chi, you can still use the move. If you drop below it, you can't anymore. While things like Wholeness Minimum, it's probably be the different wording around. Like Wholeness Minimum be like, you need to have a D6 wholeness to actually use this move properly. If you have a D6 or lower, you can use this move just fine. So that's one way of adding some keywords. So maneuver, actually, yeah, maneuver is going to be like move / generate maneuver. Fade is all about just generating maneuver and doing nothing else. Okay. Because what I need to do is if I go to lock and load it here, what we have to do is we have to select you, scroll all the way back down here. And we need to add in a brand new one, which we're just going to call utility move. Utility moves are exactly as they sound, which are just going to be entirely utility based. They're going to do no damage. They're not going to do anything. You just add in a bunch of things. It would be like, I think the best way to word it, it would be like adding in, I can move 2, but I need to have like wholeness 12 to like move a bunch as like a single action or generate a shit ton of maneuver right away. By virtue of me like springing forward because I'm super strong. It's things like that. That's like what a utility move is going to be. Kind of setting yourself up for different things possibly. Actually, we can probably do transfer as like a keyword. Yeah, we can do transfer as a keyword. Kind of along the idea of give step for step. I'm giving you a step of my wholeness. In exchange, you're going to increase your wholeness. The amount of health among the group has not changed. However, I am a little more hurt. You're a little less hurt right now, so you won't die. In exchange, I'm a little bit worse for wear, but instead of rolling D2, you now are rolling D4. Like, you won't die yet, you dumb boy. So you can probably use that for chi as well. So we'll do utility moves. Uh, actually, all styles have a few moves in them which are usually considered to be more focused on utility or theory. Actually focused on theory, or utilitarian needs. The brothers of the let's see if it's some ridiculous name. Actually, brothers of let's see. Actually, gunpowder sorcerers have esoteric rituals to grant magical abilities to individual bullets. The Sisters of the White Glove. White Glove have the unique ability to track the heartbeat of their targets, and so on. Utility moves for this utility moves for this purpose are non-offensive and non-defensive. Actually, are not offensive or defensive in nature, allowing the Qiāngxiá, allowing the Gunhero to perform powerful feats in the heat of combat, or keep themselves upright in a dire situation. That's literally all this is about. They really don't have anything else. They do not have application dice. That's like a big idea. You don't have application dice. You only really have keywords. And some of those keywords are going to be like, yes, here's a focus keyword. Regenerate a single step of your chi for your action. Fuck you. Fuck. So, let's see. We'll keep you there. Now we need to do keywords. The keywords. A keyword, if I can actually... A keyword symbolizes a unique aspect of the move, allowing a Gunhero allowing the Gunhero to perform amazing moves, amazing feats of strength, dexterity, or aggressive intent. Any number of keywords. Keywords can be placed on a single move. Any keyword marked with any keyword marked with a R can be repeatedly added to the move to enhance its effects. Not all keywords are good, however. Some refund a small amount of style points Points for restrictions, problems, or even a crippling, or even a restrictions or restrictions to its use. Fund a small amount of style types for restrictions on its use, or draining the life force from draining the life force from the Gunhero. And there we go. That's how keywords, how they operate. So we're going to put this right after. This is going to be the offensive one. Put right here, because I want them to feel a little bit different between kind of like offensive and defensive ones. Most of the time, they're going to be the exact same. It's just the off-kilter ones. Like, you can't really counter with an offensive attack. That's kind of not the point. So, we need to go to the Untitled presentation. And we need to type all of you in. We are going to generate 250. And generally speaking, I don't believe we need you for a minute. So, we want to do offensive moves. Actually, offensive keywords. So we can probably do, yeah, let's do offensive keywords. There's a joke here somewhere. They're going to be style point cost. Actually, no, we want to do, put style cost there, and then we'll do effect, then style point cost. So it'll look something like, there we go. It looks something like this. Mostly if we do this, bada, as they say, bada bing, bada boom. There we go. So, let's see. We have to do, just write in the important ones right now. So we have fade, grab, multi-target, chain, maneuver, actually not transfer. Actually, we can do wholeness burn, wholeness minimum, wholeness maximum, and then it would be the chi burn, chi minimum, chi maximum. Chi maximum. So let's think on the top of my head what would be some other. Actually, we can probably do like a reroll. I would say actually we can do. Yeah, let's add a reroll mechanic to that. We're going to call this a. We'll call it a trick. Actually, no, not trick shot. That doesn't sound right. Let's call it a trick taking and things like that. I think that's relatively appropriate. And is there anything else I'm missing here? Because we've got all that. We've... Yeah, okay. So, roughly speaking, so fade is the move generates +1 maneuver, and actually I should say is fade R. Grab, the move initiate a grab. Oh, actually I know we can do it'll be a blast. It'll be a blast, and then it's like melee only, ranged only. There we go. Actually, what we can do probably is like a mix-up too. Actually, Multi-strike. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I was trying to remember. So, let's see. Grab. The move initiates a grab, allowing the Gunhero to perform. Initiates a grab. So, multi-target. The move can target a second. Actually, the move targets another character within range, and I'm gonna put multi-target R, so you can take it repeatedly. If you really want to, you can target everybody on the field. However, do you really want to target everybody on the field? Because that'll probably, like, the amount of cost is going to be like, do I really need to do this? This isn't really going to be useful for me in the long run. So let's see, chain. Actually, the move allows the Gunhero. The move can be used after a after a standard move, or a standard move can be used after the. That's kind of an awkward way of wording it, but it's like you can say I want to do a basic attack and then I want to chain into this. So pretty much you're using two actions in exchange for doing two big things, kind of one after the other. Or you can say I want to do this move and then I want to chain into like a basic move. So you're like, I'm going to knock your defenses out and then I'm going to punch you in the face or something like that. So maneuver, actually I should say, is R. The move allows the Gunhero to move one range, one range band, or generate +1 maneuver. Wholeness burn, which we should say is wholeness burn R, because you can take this multiple times. Because I feel that's always important when it comes to these things, because I hate you. The secret to how to treat your players. I hate you and wish for you to die. So wholeness burn. The Gunhero reduces their wholeness by one step. That's all. This minimum. The Gunhero's wholeness must be at least the step value. Gunhero's wholeness must be at least the step value to use the move. Wholeness maximum. The Gunheroes, I'm also misspelling wholeness slightly. Bear with me. Wholeness must be at most the step value to use the move. Cost on this is going to be a little bit weird. So you can just do this. Reduces their chi by one step. You can just reuse this. And then we have Trico. Can reroll one of their dice can reroll one of their dice once per move use. Oh no, my D12 rolled a 2. I'm gonna use my trick to do that. It's like I'm being a little tricky. I'm like, aha, you thought I did this, but I didn't, in fact. I actually did this. Technically, it would be R. Would this be R? No, it wouldn't be R. The burns would be, but the malnuses and lowers, just because how I'm gonna do that. Blast. The Gunhero's move can be used up to the can be used up to range 3 or equal to their firearm. Melee only. The Gunhero's move can only be used in melee range or closer. The Gunhero's move can only be used in... We're probably going to use space distance. I can't remember the exact term for space distance. Come on, give me what I want. We're going to use the... Where is the lexicon? Space distance! Space distance! Where the hell are you? There we go. Space distance. We're probably going to use Grug space distance. We'll do close. Yeah, it'll be close then. Must be close or farther. Used within actually can only be used at close or farther range. Multi strike are the Gunhero's move. The Gunhero's move is done a second time. Actually, no. Actually, if the Gunhero's move fails, and actually is dodged or endured, they make a second attack, and then it would be they make a third attack, they make a fourth attack, they make a fifth attack, kind of thing. That's kind of the idea. So technically, if you really want to pull off the Metal Gear Rising punching Senator Armstrong a bunch of times thing, you can. Don't worry. That is perfectly fine. So fade, actually, let's do create a filter, which is the most valuable tool you have. And so blast, how am I feeling for style points? I want keywords to be a little bit more expensive. So let's do 5 style points for that. Chain, I'm going to do 6, 5, hello. Fade, Fade I'm not like too fussed about, so we'll just do 3. Initiates a grab, we'll do 4. Maneuver, again, I'm not too, if I'm not too fussed about it, like, I'm gonna make it fairly cheap. Melee only, we're gonna make a little less expensive, so actually, a negative 3. Actually, yeah, negative 3 at most, because that kind of restricts some movement. Multi-strike can only be dodged. Is dodge endured, they make a second attack, which is going to be pretty good, so we want that to be 8, obviously. Multi-target, which is going to be 6, just by 1 step. It's only going to be 2 per negative 2 per step. So you can say it's going to reduce it by 2 steps. You're only going to get refunded 4, because I never want it to be like a you have to have this or you have to be an issue. I don't want it to be like that. I never want the problem, like an issue, to be too cheap, because like no one will ever pick it then, nor do I want it to be too expensive where it's like, this is just the obvious thing to do. Like, oh, well, I selected that I reduced it by this, but I get to do it like 4 times and delete everything I don't like. I'm like, yeah, okay, no. Must be at least a step value to be a move. So that would be... We will do negative 2 a step. So if I want to, like, maximum, I can have a D8. This would be negative, so it would be 10, it would be negative 4 technically, because you start at D12, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to D8. So yeah. chi minimum must be at least. We can and then we can do like -2 starting at the step, range 3, which is going to be the same as, actually it's going to be a little bit less valuable than that because range is always valuable. So this one's going to need a footnote, I think. So footnote. So a Gunhero chooses to. So let's actually put you. So let's see. Footnote: a Gunhero has his chi maximum at D8. Let's see, at D8, dealing how that is 2 steps from the max. D12 to D10 to D8. D8. He is refunded. He is refunded 4 style points. 4 style points. However, a Gunhero has his. Actually, and then we do another one, which is a Gunhero has her chi minimum at D8. As it is, so that would be D0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, D0, D2, D4, D6, D8. That would be technically 5 steps. As it is dealing how it is 5 steps from the minimum. D0, D2, D4, D6, D8. Chi minimum, you're only going to get refunded 1 point. Actually, yeah, that would be correct. She is refunded 5 style points. Which, most of the time, that's not going to be, like, too big of a deal, because it's just like, well, just don't spend your chi. However, chi is very valuable, and you want to spend it, because it's going to give you fucking superpowers. So if you're like, haha, I'm only going to make sure my chi is a D2, so I can use that, you're going to get 1 fucking style point back, and it's not going to be as valuable. But, like, getting, like, a few may actually be useful. Actually, I could do like mandatory chi or something like that. Like you have to spend chi. That could work. It's not the simplest it's not the simplest answer, but Hi phone. What's up? Want to tell me about everything going on? Oh wow, it's more Brazilians joining my site. I don't know why. I have like an absurd number of Brazilians on my site, like randomly, and be like, haha, por favor. I wouldn't be por favor, would it? I believe so. This should be the same thing. I'm going to make wholeness a little bit more expensive, but not much like here. A little bit just for burning it down, just because of how, like, your wholeness hits a certain amount. Like, this is your health, man. Like, you're fucked if that goes down. We're going to make that pretty. I'm going to make that decent. So, we kind of established how those work. So, I guess we can add in, like, a wholeness. Actually, we'll do chi. Actually, we'll do chi flow. The Gunhero must add chi to the move for it to work. Let's say for it to work. There we go. So you're using the idea that you must apply chi to a very certain move, and if you don't apply chi to the move, oh no, it's like I can't use it anymore. So if you run out of chi, kind of thing, like you've kind of boned yourself if you've run out of chi, and we're gonna make that like I'm gonna make that 0. Actually, I'm gonna make that. To make that -1, because it's not a problem necessarily. It's just like there is now a cost to doing things, and because there is a cost, it's going to make your life a little bit more complicated. So I need to go here, we need to go here, we need to create a filter, do all this, select everything here actually, because of how this system works. We're going to do Neutino. Always remember to fix your Neutino. Lock and loaded. So we've done this. I'll probably go back and like double check everything to make sure that it sounds relatively decent. Because it doesn't. Like, this sounds awful. Like, majority of the time this like sounds completely garbage, but it's mostly like, does this actually work the way I want it to? Does this actually sound correctly? Does this function? Oh god, why doesn't anything function? Please send help. Mostly when it comes like, the move does this, the move does that. That's what I need to fix more than anything. I need to double check all you and use the stupid Google thing, because for some reason you've done so many things right, Google. How did you fuck this particular thing up? But here we go. So these are all our offensive keywords. And actually, we will do the Baiji example. So, in example, Baiji is double barrel punch 3. And actually, I should put I'm going to mark this here, and I'm going to put a note here. Actually, I'm going to put a note when I transfer everything this over to the main document, because what I need to do is I need to then add every single one of these like status effects that could potentially happen and add it to here, which isn't that big of a deal. However, I don't know what I want the status effects to be, because I know kind of how I want them to work. I don't know how to do them properly, though. That's the big question. So let's see. Baiji is double barrel punch number 3. Let's see. The double barrel punch has reached the end of its development. With Baiji adding, what would he add? He's going to want to add, no, I know, he would want to add a multi-strike. Adding multi-strike, and melee only to the move. Multi-strike, so it's going to cost him 8, but melee only is -3, so he only technically paid 5 for this. The move is now complete, allowing for Baiji to close the gap and deliver a 1-2 mega punch. Mega punch right to the enemy. Because if we go up here, actually, to first maneuver keyword, any move is considered free. So technically, to the move, dealing how he has a light type style. He is also allowed to add add maneuver 1 to the move. As you can close the gap, deliver a 1-2 mega punch right to the enemy. So that's how that works. So we're going to select you, and now we have to go down here to the double barrel punch, scroll back up, and then we hit here. So the double barrel punch, Control Shift 8, and it has the keywords of dealing with how he is light type style. So he has multi-strike. No, actually he has maneuver, multi-strike, actually melee, it would be melee only, and multi-strike, which multi-strike is 8, melee only is -3, and maneuver is 0 because he's a light style. He has, so adding all of these together, he has a total of 18 for 18 style points to make of this, which is pretty decent actually, because he's hitting right at D10, which is D10 plus wholeness plus cultivation, means that guy's hitting pretty hard if he's actually healthy. And if he misses and he can't injure on that first attack, guess what? He gets to do it again. Now he gets to try to hit again, which is very scary. So we will just select that and hit, actually we'll do like that. So this brings us to the defensive moves. So we need to go like this. Actually, we don't really need to do this anymore. We'll do defensive keywords. And just to make my life a little bit easier to read, make sure to reduce you down to D10. Hit you. And oof, Mary, give me one moment. I need. Alright, I'm back. Hello, I am alive. I am not dead yet, but you can't kill me yet. That's for tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not looking for... Tomorrow is going to be a nightmare. I don't know if you guys realize that. Tomorrow is going to be very long and very arduous. Just because there's a lot of shit to think about. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Okay, this is escalating. Oh, wow, okay. People are getting weird on my... People are getting weird on my Discord because that's what they fucking do. Let's do Qiāngxiá. Actually, I need to do lock and loaded. Is there actually... We can do... This one as a grab. Do we do fade? We can add fade. Feel fade is important. We can do actually no, let's not do maneuver, because what'll happen with maneuver is that people will just move away really fast. We can do all the chi burn, like chi minimums, chi burns, and shit like that. That's fine. Like, those are pretty universal. But we can also do trick and then wholeness burn and all that. Okay, so these ones are pretty universal. So what we need to add is a few other ones. We need to add in, let's see, we have to do counter, obviously. Counter the Gunhero. Actually, if the Gunhero is successful in either dodging or enduring an attack, they will deal. They will make a standard attack after. Actually, they will make a standard attack immediately. So if you've managed to dodge someone shooting you, you can like snapshot right them. You can't use a move or anything for it, but you can, however, like I've dodged out of the way, I've brought up my gun, I've made the shot, I've popped you. And like that makes it's scary against someone who is like really damn strong and they're allowed to make a counter. Because if they make a counter, suddenly you're on your ass. Let's see, we need to add in Guardian Armor. Guardian Armor is a big one. Actually, so let's just select everything here. We need to add in Guardian Armor. The move's defense. Actually, the Gunhero can instead take the attack of take an attack targeted at an ally who's nearby. You can instead take the attack targeted at an ally who's nearby. So Guardian Armor, if you have Guardian Armor on, it's like, oh no, I'm going to be shot by someone with a gun. Be like, I have a move with Guardian Armor, I'm just going to rush in there and take it. You know, it's kind of you kicking them out of the way as you take a shot or something. That's kind of that idea. What I should do... we can probably add in a few other ones here to kind of make things a little bit more interesting when it comes to the... You can dodge a move, but not necessarily take the full brunt of it. But I might work that into when I get combat done. I just need to get this section done more than anything. Is there really anything else for... So we can do a perfect dodge. We can do a solo dodge. Solo dodge. The move can only be used to dodge. And the Gunhero cannot endure. Cannot endure. And then we do solo endure. The move can only be used to endure. And the Gunhero cannot dodge. And what we should do is we'll do it wouldn't be range only. We should do we'll do ranger defense, and then yeah, ranger. Actually, we'll call it ranger defense, and then we'll do warrior defense. The ranger defense is this: the move can only be used against ranged attacks or at close or farther away. So if you want to matrix dodge, you're going to have to use ranger defense. Warrior defense is the move can only be used against melee attacks within melee range. Okay. So we have grab on. The move initiates a grab. Actually, must be tied with counter. So it's kind of the idea of like, if you have grab, actually, so we'll reduce the cost of the grab. So you have to select counter, then you can select grab, which allows you to, I've countered, I grab you immediately, being like, I'm going to attack you, haha, like I dodge out of the way, I grab you, and then I can flip you over next turn. That's me, yeeting you into the fucking stratosphere. So move generates, I think 3 works pretty well for that. Chi burn, I think all of this works pretty standard. Reroll one of their dice once per move. I'm going to bump that up to 6 for like a defensive trick. It's a little bit more expensive simply because I don't want defense to be like king. Because that's one of the things I'm worried about in this game, is that defense will just be king. That's all you'll want to go into, because that's what usually happens in games like these. Is that if defense is too good, everyone will go into defense because that's the right thing to do. And sometimes that can get a little dull. So I want to encourage counters. Actually, it's in either dodging or enduring an attack, they will make a standard attack immediately, so it counts 4. Guardian armor, we're going to make that a little bit more expensive. Actually, we're going to make that, we'll make that pretty expensive. Solo dodge. -2, -2. Actually, we'll do -2, -3 for solo endure, because I want some things to be like, if you get hit, you're still going to take a bit of, like, if you get hit by this, you might still take it, with the idea of being like, oh, you want to dodge this, ha ha ha, I'm going to do damage with you. Be like, oh, you do 0 damage, and you're like, oh, fuck. And it's like, oh no, I've been hit by an ability that might cripple me or might slow me down, or I'm going to take damage equal to my maneuver or something like that. Ranger defense. I want range defense is very valuable. Melee defense is going to happen more often, so I'm going to price these the same, with the idea being like, if you're getting shot at, ranger defense is insane. Warrior defense is really good, however, for like actual Gunhero fights, which I want to be kind of a core aspect of the game called Gunhero. I do have a method to all of my madness. It may not seem like it sometimes, but I do actually somewhat know what I'm doing. Sometimes, and not all the time. Very rarely, in fact, do I know what I'm doing all the time. However, that has not stopped me before. So actually, we'll slap in offensive keywords right there. We'll slap in some defensive keywords, some like unique aspect, amazing feats of strength, dexterity, and amazing feats and defensive skill. Any number to place a single move, a keyword marked with R can be repeated, taking the move hands effect. None of the keywords are good, however. So, yeah, there we go. That's literally all I'm adding. Wow, Notepad, you almost like you didn't fucking do anything and just copy-pasted it. Yes, I did. And no, you cannot stop me. Let's make sure. I need to check the table properties, column size. Can I get you down to 1? Make my life easy. I can. Can I get you down to 1? Cool. What are you at? Can I get you down to 3? Yes, I can. So 1, 3, 1. So we want to do 1, 1, 3. And Nutino 12. And where is the alignment button? We want to do alignment middle, center. Can't dodge. Why do you look so different? Column width. Okay, apparently. So 1 inch, 3 inch, 1 inch. 1 inch, 3 inch, 1 inch. Why do you look so different? Wait a second, you're not... What? Nani? What? Why? Why? 1, 3, 1. So, are you 3 now? 3.5. 3. Okay. No, apparently you're now 3. Okay, are you? So you're 1, 3, 1. We select everything here because for some fucking reason it decides that it just doesn't want to do what I want it to do sometimes. Because Google Docs will never do tables right. I do not know why. It's hard. But Google Docs will never do tables. Google, I'm not asking for much here. I'm not, like, really asking for all that in the world. All I'm asking for you is to not fuck up the tables. Table alignment center. There we go. But every time you try to do anything unique, you fuck the table up. How do you group melee weapons, guns? I find it really easy. Pistols, long arms, heavy armament, but with melee I always struggle to find a satisfying grouping. Let me see. Let's do my lexicon. So, this is my list of weapons and stuff. Usually I have axe, mace, spear, staff, sword, and then into bow and crossbow, gunpowder, and throw. And those are my usual ones. Just because, like, there's a lot of different kind of sword out there. Like, my rough thing for a sword is, like, a sharp weapon designed to stab you to death. So it could be a knife, a rapier, a saber, a short sword. If you say, okay, it's in the sword category, people kind of immediately get the idea of what it is. Technically, you could probably break it down into like a dagger and sword category if you want to get a little bit more specific. But usually when it comes to like daggers, for example, you're going to end up with like a knife, like a guard dagger, maybe a stiletto, and like maybe a Bowie knife if you want to get really specific. That kind of goes in for like spears as well. Spears, I try to lay like, they're usually longer and they hit people, and people are like, yes, this makes sense. I think the only one that kind of sometimes throws people off is like the axe category, because I have things like a pole axe in there. That's how I usually separate melee weapons. Now for range weapons, I break it down into assault, handgun, rifle, shotgun, SMG. That's how I break mine down. Sometimes I keep with the long arms if I want to make it a little bit simpler. Like for this one, I'm going to have to go a little bit more detailed because I want people to have their own guns and make that a little bit cool. Flails and whips. Flails I put into mace. Because if you were to ask someone, what is a flail at the end of the day? A flail is pretty much a mace with a chain on it. That's really what a flail is at the end of the day. You swing it around, you bash someone over the head with it. So it kind of has the same idea. Whips fall into that very bizarre category of, like, not quite real weapons. Like, I don't usually put whips in my games unless it's like a really specific thing, or you're like, because it's a weird thing. Like, you're putting a whip in this because, like, it needs to have a whip. But, like, usually if you were to, like, force me to put a whip in, I would probably put it under, like, an exotic tab more than anything, with the intent of being like, this is kind of a weird weapon for weird weapon's sake. Like, that's also where I put things like a sitar or something like that. Like, a guitar, that's it. Like, there comes a point where there's, like, weapons that, like, fall into no category. There's absolutely zero categories that weapons, like, a weapon would fall into. Yeah. If you make something its own group, like whip categories, like, give it, like, 2-3 options in it to, like, justify it. Usually, like a standard whip, like a bull whip, and, like, usually if you were to, like, again, if you were to put a gun to my head, I'd put something like a bullwhip, which is a little bit longer and a little bit more focused. Like I wouldn't say a cat of nine tails, but, like, very much like a bladed whip almost. Like, this weapon is designed to tear flesh open because you are a crazy sadist. And then maybe like a chain whip. You're fucking a goddamn Belmont, I guess. As you just kind of whip someone with a chain or something. That's how I would do it. But again, I don't usually deal with whips just because whips are weird. But yeah, like, anytime you make something its own group, give it, like, more than, like, 2 options. Usually, like, 3 is my cutoff. Just because it's like, here's the whip category. And there's one weapon in the whip category. I know. Yes, correct. Yeah, like, that's pretty solid. Like, it'll do its job. That's, like, all you can really hope for at some point. Like, will this do its job? Like, yes. Forgot. Like, yes, this is probably broken. No, I don't know how to fix it. Forgot I'm very blunt sometimes with my notes. But yeah, so you should all be working. So next we need to do... Technically, all I need to do now is the utility moves. So the utility moves are going to be pretty standard stuff. Trick, solo dodge, range of defense. We're going to add in pretty much all of this. Like, all the standard stuff I already put in. But we're not going to put in these. We're going to put in, actually, here's the initiates a grab. Must be tied to with a counter. We don't need that. Guardian armor, we don't need that. Counter, we don't need that. So let's just move all this shit up. Move all you up. Alright, there we go. And next we have to do... We will do a chi transfer. The Gunhero, next to in... Actually, chi touch transfer. Chi touch transfer. The Gunhero next to a nearby ally, touches them and transfers 1 step of chi to and step them in exchange for one step of chi. So you just give a step of chi for a step of chi, which is also going to be wholeness touch transfer. This is your heal, effectively. Teacher says that transfers a step of wholeness. Exchange for 1 step of wholeness. And then we get to do... Do we even want to add in like a range transfer? I'm not feeling a range transfer. Chi burn, guardian armor. Actually, what we can do is we can add in a, because I know I want to do this. I just need to, so cleanse. The Gunhero removes a status effect from themselves immediate themselves. I'm gonna put an R next to this, being like, you can remove like 2-3 status effects at once, which could be pretty good. And then we want to do like a recharge, which I'm not gonna do it. But so the Gunhero increases their chi die by 1 step. You can spend an entire move, an entire action to increase your chi by 1. That's it. How much it costs? Sit. Actually, what's a... let's do Chinese numerology. Our favorite time of the day. What's a lucky number? What's a life number? 3, 5. What's 8 stand for? What's 8? To prosper. Double joy. So yeah. So don't worry, everybody. We're just following Chinese numerology. That's why it's really fucking expensive. We're going to make this 5. Actually, we're going to make this 6. Wholeness touch transfer. We want this to be 6, and we want this to be 6. Actually, we don't need this to be that way. Because 6 is a good number, right? Slick smooth. And then 8 for the heal. Actually, we'll do 8 for the heal and 6 for the chi transfer. There we go. Because I don't want people to exploit this, because it's very easy to exploit anytime you are allowed to create things of your own. My character specializes in Hunga Munga, which covers all African throwing swords. That's... Anytime you give a player an option to do something like that, they're going damn straight they're going to do it. God damn, you're damn straight. They're going to be like, I have made my character perfect. Being like, what you make? He specializes only in shields. What do you mean he specializes only in shields? You don't understand. He only uses shields. Like, no, he doesn't. Like, no. No. Oh god, I'm see now I'm scared. Oh god, one of these things. Oh sweet Jesus. Notepad. Yeah, don't worry. I've specialized my character. Like, oh god, no. No, please. See, that's some of the cursed shit that I expect people to like. It's time, everybody. Let's see. Utility. See, what I get to do now is I need to put this down here for utility keywords. Because this is all you do for these moves. These are just a mass combination of keywords. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna go here. We're gonna select all. We need to table properties to make sure the column width is correct. Table alignment, center, middle. Boost you up to 12. Let me make sure you're Nutino. Okay, so actually, I need to add in a few offensive moves, which we're going to do. Where are you? Ah, here we go. If you want to do a maneuver, I'm not gonna stop you. If you want to move, like, haul ass, cool, go for it. I'm actually gonna make it a little cheaper to maneuver here. So it's like, if you want to do a big maneuver that's a defensive keyword, Notepad. What are you doing? Why are you the way that you are? If you want to do like a big ass maneuver and like haul ass across the battlefield or generate a shit ton of maneuver with a single utility move, I encourage it. Do that because it's interesting. There's actually something like interesting there that you can like, yeah, I'm gonna fly across the field because I'm crazy and I'm a goddamn Gunhero Wuxia badass and I could totally do that. That's fine. I'm okay with this. Let's see. We should do actually I need to put you, I need to put a column below, and we need to do touch. The Gunhero the Gunheroes keyword status effects will still affect the target. Will still affect the target. Affect the target even if they endure. Just by virtue of I have touched you. I have touched you, but something is happening here. Like I've done something to do, like to make your life nightmarish. That is what that's about. That's solely what that's about. So, alright, so we've got all this. Okay, so next we need to do Baiji Yong's Iron Fist defense. Because his Iron Fist defense is quite literally an entire combat move dedicated to grabbing bullets out of the air because he doesn't really have any, he's not that actually, defensive. Into the 7 points into protection 1. Let's have to endure it because that's his entire thing. He wants to endure. So, in example, Bai Zhongye, Ji's Iron Fist Defense 3. With his defensive option coming to a close, Bai Zhongye invests into solo endure, -2, actually -3, because he can only endure. He's not dodging. That's his big thing. He does not want to dodge. And he is also going to probably get himself killed by doing this. His defensive options coming to a close by solo endure and trick. 6, allowing him a second chance to grab those bullets and fists flying at him. Yep, there we go. He is. So next we need to go to here. So he's got his dodge. He's got no dodge, absolutely 0. He still gets refunded for it. He still gets a little bit of points. So technically, like, solo endure is worth 5 points, which is very good. But he does have keyword. He has solo endure, -3, and trick for 6. So technically, he increases it by 3. That means he has 16. So his Iron Fist defense. So this is his full Iron Fist defense. He's all about trying to save himself from not dying, because that's... Baiji is Iron Fist Defense 3. Control Shift A, we need to hit that. There we go. With his defensive move done, with his defensive move finished, he's ready to take on the world. But hopefully no one has anything too nasty to hit him with. Let's see, Iron Fist defense. So let's see, he has spent total of his 35 points, 16 plus 18. Let's see, is he legal? I think he's still legal. He is 1 point away from being illegal. 1 point. And that means we get to design a 1 point move for utility. We need to do... I am going to do this, though, because I always hate it when this happens. Actually, wait a second. We need to do... Pin you as this. Sword Ascending. There we go. Wait, defensive keywords. Why the hell are you here? Oh, I must have not changed it. Okay. That kind of scared me, not gonna lie. So we need to do that, and then remove the header row. Okay, so it's not perfect. Not perfect at all. So we're going to select all of you. We're going to hit that button. Select all of you. We're going to delete these 7 rows. Do that. Do that. And that should work as I want it to. So next I need to just... Oh no! Oh no! Whoa! Calm down. Calm down. Woo! So I need to do 12 Nutino. We need to do table properties, color, black on black, sexiest color available. Next we need to select all of you. We need to go to black 1 point font. I said black 1 point font. God damn it, Google, why are you like this? Google, why do you hurt me so? Next we do that, and we are good. So we're going to design a literal utility move for 0. So let's do this. So technically we're going to do Baiji. So in example, Baiji is a shotgun. Let's see. Shotgun. Actually, so it'd be slug. It would actually be slug. Slug concentration. So he needs to develop this perfectly to make it effectively cost nothing. So let's see. He's gonna need... So his entire thing is this. He wants a cleanse maneuver. So, Baiji final move is a aspect to keep him alive in desperate situations, as he concentrates his energy to flow out any negative chi. Actually, yeah, any... What would be negative chi? Is that the correct term? Chi, negative energy. Yeah, so out any negative chi inside of his body. So we need to go here. Actually, the utility keywords. So he needs to select cleanse, like cleanse 6 as the basis. Let's see. What would be some? Okay, so his wholeness needing to be, actually no, we'll do actually his wholeness. No, we'll do chi. Actually, wait a second. This is utility keywords. Why are ranger defense here? Oh wait, ranger defense. Leroy, we don't need you. Yeah, actually, we can do. Actually, he burns his chi for two steps, -4, and next we need it. He burns his chi at and actually we don't need chi flow either, because chi flow we're not making any rolls necessarily. And burns his chi at 2 steps, but requiring a minimum chi. So that would be 4. So technically a minimum chi of D2. Actually, wait a second. As the basis, he does require a chi minimum of D8 -5 to successfully purge the negative energy in his system. There we go. So it would be, let's see, D2, D4, D6, D8. Yeah, that's still correct. That is correct. So yeah, that's how you make some move. This is a 1-cost move. So this would be slug concentration. So he has cleanse for 6, and then chi minimum of D8. Chi minimum of D8, so that would be, let's see, D2, D4, D6, D8. Actually, this would be chi minimum of D10, so that would be -5. Yeah, chi minimum is kind of a pain. So yeah, he's literally going to have to be either a max chi or 1 step down to cleanse himself of it, but he gets it for free. Actually, the chi Gunhero's chi must be at most of the step value. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's kind of his entire thing. That's what he wants to do. That's slug concentration. So select everything here, and we do insert table 1-to-1. Baiji slug concentration is an aspect to keep him alive. Cleanse minimum, and there, as it literally costs 1. So he has successfully spent 35 points on every single one of his abilities. Yep. Iron Fist Defense. Things should be I think everything is legal here. And right now, all we need to do is just... We need to add some stuff, but we'd have to go into combat to do that. Which I am okay with. So we're going to select everything here. Select you. Paste here. And that should be... That should be everything. Hell yeah. So, there we go. 1829. So with style creation done, we can then move on to, God, how long have I been let's see, how long have I been streaming? Almost 2 fucking hours. Okay, and I started a little bit late today, so... Okay, here's the plan. Next Monday, next week, Monday, we're going to rip through comm scenes, we're going to rip through action scenes. This is the plan next Monday. We're going to probably have to do a notepad must die to get literally the entire combat section done. We're just going to do it until it's done. I have the idea of how it works. I know how it works. It's just about doing it. That's literally all that needs to occur. It's just going to be me having to sit down and do the entire thing. So I'm going to mark both of these for Monday. So we're going to see if we can't also do equipment there. Exterior mechanics, I don't really that. And we're going to, generally speaking, this is going to be the plan. If exterior mechanics kind of takes some more time, we're going to probably have to do it. But I'm actually not thinking we're going to add in any exterior mechanics. I don't really know what needs to be added. I'll probably ask people being like, what are you kind of looking for? Because it's going to be things like, what happens if you're on a horse? But then it's like, who the fuck cares? You just jump from horse to horse because you're a goddamn Wuxia superstar. Like, that's the beautiful thing about this game, is that I can usually just get around 95% of, like, what's with this? Like, what do I do if I'm on a carriage? And, like, just, you're a Wuxia superstar. Fuck it. Probably, like, what I'll probably end up doing is, like, here's, like, a basic, like, here's what a basic, like, handgun looks like. Here's what a basic revolver actually looks like. And then provide, like, 2 options, kind of like what I did with Soldat Sans Identité. Of, like, here's 2 options to make, like, here's what these kind of weapons would look like differently. I might actually add some more just because there was a lot of different guns in the West. So it'll be like, a basic revolver is this. However, a Bone Crusher is going to look like this. And a Derringer is going to look like this. Go for it. With the big idea being, at the end of the equipment section, like, the equipment section isn't going to be, like, very extensive, but it's also, I'm going to have a big thing at the end there, which is going to be like, hey kids, you like guns, don't you? Yeah, we like our guns and we like our weapons. Cool, you could customize all of your weapons using advancement points. Pretty much the more you are enlightened, the more you kind of like level up, kind of build that enlightenment, you'll also be able to improve your weapon because it's becoming more of your signature weapon. So you can spend a little bit to kind of edit it and being like, oh, it's a weapon that does 1 damage and it can be used at this range and it has this much ammo, to like, hey, my revolver's a fucking triple barrel, fuck you. And I have, like, dedicated myself to punching you in the face. Like the big thing with guns, how I want to do it is, like, a weapon is reliable. A weapon's always going to do what you want it to do. Like, a rifle is always going to just hit you with a rifle bullet. That's it. The kind of the catch being that you don't really get to add any of, like, the status effects or any of the, like, abilities really with it. You don't get any of the Wuxia stuff, and when someone does close the distance, that's when things get a little bit, you know, hinky. And if you really think about it, with all these, like, Wild West gunfights, it's like, oh, well, here's, like, these range combat, we're all kind of exchanging shots, and it's, what happened if you have someone who can just pluck bullets out of the air? It's like, well, we have a problem here. like, this man is, like, someone who we cannot actually deal with. A revolver that does 1 damage cannot actually hurt someone with protection 1. Hence why Baiji's Iron Fist defense is actually really good, because you can say, haha, and you'll fan the hammer and hit every 6 shots. He's grabbed all 6 bullets out of the air and just threw them away. I'm like, alright, okay, what are you actually going to hit me with? You know, but that's usually the time when, you know, the guy's like, oh, let me show you what happens when I, you know, unleash my, devil trigger right now. Like, oh, you think that was my final form? Oh, fuck you. Here's sacred bullet, ebony ivory cock form or whatever, and then he starts beating the shit out of you. That's the plan. The only big... shoot him with the shotgun is usually a good solution. Yeah, and I kind of want that to be like an idea behind certain guns to make them feel a little bit different, where it's like, rifles have the longest range. They're going to be able to like actually pick people off, and that's what makes them scary. People who have a rifle and you get into melee combat with them are probably going to start using that rifle to beat you to death with. Or it's just like, they've probably planned ahead for this. Someone with a revolver is going to want to pull off some stylish moves. And they're kind of like, I want like a revolver and like handguns to be like the nice middle thing. The idea behind shotguns is like, hey kids, yeah, no, you're going to have real, dodge this fuckface. But they have a very low ammo count. So you got to kind of make it count. That's why Baiji, he has a double barrel shotgun. That's his big thing. That is his weapon of choice. Because he wants to get as close as possible to you, slide under you, shoot you, and then punch you to death. He wants to grab you by the head and slam you into a table, and then whip around and unload on some unfortunate bastard. Did I accidentally make Ash Williams? Yes, I did make Ash. Fuck you. I can do that. I'm the writer. Ash, except he's Chinese and angry. Alright. I'm gonna call it there for today. Thank you all very much. I'll probably add in some more things to the style mechanic. That's one of those things, like, I just need to pick. And it's like, I'm gonna have like a fucking shower thought at 2 in the morning, and I'm gonna like wake up and be like, my god, I need to add in the weapon mechanic, this tag or some keyword or something, because that's how I function. I'm that guy. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you. Godspeed, good luck, and also tomorrow at noon EST, 12 o'clock EST, we'll be doing the Curious Case of the Funky Fresh 80s. In which we're going over a lot of weird games. A lot of games I'm actually very fascinated in, and some I'm genuinely horrified by. I also made a Gorn in the original Star Trek FASA RPG, and it's hilarious. He's a funny lizard man. So I'm going to call it there for today. Godspeed, good luck, I'll catch you all on the flip side. Yay!